Greetings all, Shane Bruce of Rustin Mod Daisy. Today, we have an interesting gun that came in from one of our subscribers. It's not working properly, so he sent it to me to see if I could see what the what was. And you'll notice it's a Daisy number 195 Buzz Barton Special. And this is a very neat gun. Daisy's always been in the forefront of product tie-ins with Hollywood. And Buzz Barton was a child star during the era of the silent films in the 1920s. And quite naturally, Buzz starred in Western movies. So there was a tie-in between Daisy and Buzz Barton. And to celebrate that, they issued the number 195 Buzz Barton Special. Now, what makes this gun special? It had an unusual sight package on it. Daisy, in their wisdom, decided it was time to put a scope on a weapon. Well, this isn't really a scope. It's actually just a metal tube. But when you look down it, it sure looks scopish. And you tie that off to the front sight, which is a smaller diameter metal tube, and you get the effect that they were looking for. It's a unique sight package on a Daisy product. It isn't the last time that Daisy's going to put a scope on a gun with no glass, but it is the first time. So, the gun came in and is not working. It cycles, the trigger pulls, the gun goes poof, but nothing comes out of the barrel. So the first step we're going to do is verify that. This is a bottle cap Daisy. It's not a lightning loader. There's no feed tube down here, so we have the button. So we'll have to open the button up. Let me grab a couple of BBs. And this is part of the miracle of the lightning loader is you didn't have to load your gun this way. So the idea is that you just hold it up here and then just spill your BBs willy-nilly all over the place. If you got half of the BBs that you picked up in the gun, that's a good day. Oh, there goes one. It escaped. I think probably Daisy did that in correlation with their BB marketing department to make sure that nobody had any BBs in their guns because you spilled half of them. All right, so what we're going to do is do a quick test fire against a backdrop, and we're going to see if anything comes out of this gun. The customer has said it does not shoot. So we fire one time, we don't get nothing. You'll notice that odd slapping sound. If you listen to the sound of the piston hitting the back of the abutment washer, you'll hear a very sharp sound. All right, second round, nothing going on. Third round, hopefully this is a charm. No, the gun definitely is not shooting. All right, we know the plunger's working, we know the trigger's working, the lever's working, but we know that nothing's coming out. So let's investigate that first. First, we pull the bottle cap off. Great thing about a bottle cap Daisy, you can just pull the shot tube out and take a peek. Well, we can see that BBs are feeding down the ramp. They're getting to where they're supposed to be. There's a spring there to keep the BB that's at the battery position in position. So we'll dump all those out and take a look down the bore to see if we can see anything. And I do not see anything, so that tells me there's probably a BB lodged in the bore.
Okay.
It should be dark. Hold it, I can see a little dot of light. Or maybe not, maybe that's a reflection.
We'll go with that.
All right, so now we take a tool, which is just a piece of steel. That's the same diameter as the bore. And working from the breech end, push it in and see if anything rolls out. Doesn't appear. No, it's not blocked. So we'll check it again visually. Okay, I can see the circle of light at the end of the bore. So the bore is not blocked. That's not the problem. The bore is clear. If a BB could make it down the bore, it would go down the bore. There we go. So the next thing we're going to look at is the air tube. Is an air tube present? Because I'm beginning to think that the air tube's broken and we probably have a seal problem. So we take a look down the bore. We try to look down the bore. It's hard to do. Okay, I can see the breech face, and I don't see a tube sticking out. All right, so there's the diagnosis. Broken air tube. Not uncommon at all on this vintage Daisy. So the next phase is going to be take the gun apart. It's always the next phase. All right, on the Buzz Barton, you'll notice that it's got this fake scope tube, and the scope tube is secured with this small screw here at the top of the stock. So the first thing we're going to do is pull the stock. It's the same process for all small frame Daisies. Red Riders, Model 94s, Buzz Bartons, they're all similarly constructed. So the first step is to get the buttstock off. which is relatively easy to do. Now, ooh, look at this quick dismount scope tube. And as I told you earlier, it's just a hole. There's no glass in here. There's a little disc in the middle that so that you look scopish, but that's as far as it goes. All right, so we got that off. Let's get the buttstock out of position. Got a trigger return spring, but we knew that because the trigger worked. Now, this might have been a factory standard here, because this is the second small frame daisy I've taken apart lately that has this little metal staple piece installed. So I'm going to have to do some research on that. That's odd that I would find two guns with exactly the same staple installed. But that would have helped prevent the cracking that's so prominent on these little guns because they're single plank stocks. All right, next phase. Let's pull the lever. The Buzz Barton is old enough, because it's a 1930s vintage gun, to have the cast iron lever. And cast iron levers weigh quite a bit more than their aluminum counterparts, so you can easily tell if it's cast iron just by the weight and heft. Nice piece. Next thing we're going to pull is the trigger assembly. And once we get that out, we're going to head over to the workbench, get this mounted in the vise, and get that plunger assembly out of there and see what's going on. There we go. There it is. The same metal trigger that we messed with on a 1979, model 1938, 1946 model 111 number 40, and earlier guns 155s, and now a number 195 Buzz Barton. All use the same trigger. Nothing like common parts. All right, now we're going to go to the bench. Okay, so once again, we have the mainspring compressor. I'm going to slide that rascal in here till we make contact. It's always a fiddly bit. Sooner or later, I'll find it. And get that mainspring engaged. Now this one wants to be just really fiddly. All right, let's flip over. No, I'm not on it yet. All right, so we found the mainspring finally. Now we're going to compress the mainspring. We're going to pull the spring anchor out, lay that off to the side, and now we're going to extract it. I'm going to reach in with a probe or a screwdriver or a metal piece, and we're going to gently pry out. Oh, that's gummy. Pry out that plunger assembly. See, you can see the spring and everything there.
There we go.
Right in there. The back plate here is what we're working on now. We're just going to pull that out. Now we got to the point where it's easily to go. And let's take a look and see what this looks like. Oh, that does not look good. Well, we know from our supposition about the air tube is correct. There should be a small air tube sticking out of here. It's broken off. All right, that's why the gun is not shooting. And that, oh, that's just terrible. I got a funny feeling. Let's see if we can get a shot down the back end of the receiver real quick, because what I think we'll see is a shiny metal surface, which indicates that there is no abutment washer in there. If you can get it, there we go. See that metal? There should be a piece of leather covering that. So the abutment washer is gone, and that's probably what the residue is on the end of the plunger assembly. And also the giant hole tells you that the washer is not present. So that's why our gun is not working. It does not have an abutment washer, so the compression cup cannot do its job, and it does not have an air tube, so air can't be transferred into the compression chamber. This results in a gun that doesn't fire. All right, so we've diagnosed what our problem is with our 195, and we will determine the best way to fix it. We'll either use, an original air tube, something that may look like that, with a new leather washer, or an old leather washer recycled off another gun, or we may go with the more modern approach and utilize a Model 25 shot tube on an overboard air tube to see if we get more velocity out of it. Right now we don't know what the gun runs stock because it didn't work stock, but we'll find out. So that's it for our adventure with the Daisy Buzz Barton Special, the Model 36, number 195 Buzz Barton. That's all we've got for you today, kids. This is Shane Bruce, Resto Mod Daisy, signing off.